Let A be the set x, x being a real number, but x is greater than or equal to 1. Now a function f from A to real numbers is defined as f of x is equal to x squared minus x. Show that f is 1 to 1. Alright, we know that for f to be 1 to 1, f of A equals f of B should, after some working, imply that A equals B. So this is our objective, to get that A equals B. Now let's see how we can go about doing that. So f of A is A squared minus A. F of B is B squared minus B. Now because of the squares and the single term in x, I'm going to have to complete the square so that I can get a single term in x. Factorizing won't help. Sorry, that's a single term in A. Now factorizing won't help. So completing the square is the method we're going to have to use. So this is going to be A minus a half. So half of the coefficient of A, and the coefficient of A is -1, so half of -1 is -half, all squared. And then we need to subtract the square of 1/2, which is 1/4. And thankfully, we get the same thing with B. So B minus a half, all squared, minus 1/4, completing the square on both sides. Now clearly, our quarters eliminate each other. So we have that A minus a half, all squared, is equal to B minus a half, all squared. At this stage, I'm going to find the square root of both sides. A minus a half equals B minus 1/2. Now notice we did not utilize plus or minus. The reason being, we are told that our domain A is strictly when x is greater than or equal to 1. And that tells me that I do not need to utilize a plus or minus, since there is this restriction on my domain, which is covered by A minus a half. So if I have A minus a half and I set this to 0, that means that A is equal to 1/2. And remember, A represents x. So basically, x is equal to 1/2 is the minimum value for this expression, once you know or understand completing the square. So the minimum value for this expression is A equals a half, which corresponds to x equaling 1/2. But we know already that x is more than or equal to 1. So by having this as our domain, we basically, as I said, eliminate the need for the plus or minus. So just bear that in mind. Our halves, well, negative halves cancel. So what are we left with? A equals B. Therefore, F is 1 to 1. And remember, for a question like this, you have to use completing the square. And again, because of our domain, we eliminated the need for plus or minus, which enabled us to show that A equals B. Thank you.